Hey YouTube, it's iTech every week, and in this video I'm reviewing the iPhone 5S. I got the space gray version. If I pick it up here, you'll be able to tell in a little bit. There you go. You guys can probably already tell it looks a lot different than the black version, which this one kind of replaced. The iPhone 5S is available in three different colors and three different storage capacities. You can get the iPhone 5S in space gray, which we have here. You can get it in the white and silver, which is the same as the iPhone 5. The white color, and then you can get the iPhone 5S in gold. And the gold, some people said that it looks more like a champagne color, not really an actual gold in person. They said, I think it depends on the lighting, because as you can see that the shades of the phone, the color changes a lot as I just rotate it underneath the light here. But you can get the phone in 16, 32, and 64 gigabyte configurations, and that will start you on contract at $200. The 32 would be $300. And the 64 gigabyte is $400. Those are all on contract. To get it unlocked, it starts at, I believe, $650, moving up to $750, and then $850. Now, if the price seems a little bit too expensive, you can pick up the iPhone 5C, which Apple did release. But I'm not going to be covering any features of the iPhone 5C in this video. This is going to be all about the iPhone 5S right here. So let's get into the review. As we know, every other year, Apple releases the S version of their iPhone. And in the previous year to the S, they always have the new design changes to the iPhone. We had the iPhone 5S here, of course, and this phone has definitely got some performance upgrades. The S versions are always mainly just performance upgrades, and normally they have one new feature specifically to that device. 2 years ago, the iPhone 4S had Siri. This year we have the Touch ID sensor, as you guys can see right here. And I'll go into more of that in a little bit. But talking performance of the iPhone 5S here, this thing is fast. We have the 64-bit A7 processor in this. Going through different tasks, gaming, everything is extremely fast. This phone has never been able to be locked up once. Switching between applications, launching applications. Gaming, I've noticed the most difference between the iPhone 5S and the iPhone 5. Infinity Blade 3. This is basically the only iOS game I've ever really played or got into. And the graphics on this, as you can tell right now, they look great. I've never seen graphics like this in a phone before. The 64-bit technology is, of course, going to allow developers to expand on gaming a lot more and applications and everything. If you buy an iPhone 5S, it comes with all of the stock applications and 64-bit configurations already. So those are already optimized to get the most use out of the power of the A7 64-bit processor. Third-party applications may take some time for developers to do that. But either way, the phone is not going to get locked up in any task. It's extremely fast, and once you try out the iPhone 5S, you'll understand the speed that it's capable of and the task that it can do. The phone, of course, runs iOS 7, which is the newest iOS that is available to the public. And this year, iOS has been updated to a completely new look. Some people have liked it, and some people have not liked it. I personally think everything on it looks great. Everything flies by smoothly. It's a new change that some people may have to get used to, and I can agree to some of the things they've been saying. If you kind of look at the icons here, some of them, they look kind of like childish. They don't look really too professional. But it's a new change, and I guess we just kind of have to get used to it, and there's nothing we can really do about that. I personally love the look of iOS 7. Everything just looks pretty nice on it, and I have no problem with it at all. And it came with tons of new features, which I won't go into too much. Let's go ahead and go right into Touch ID. As you can see here, the home button on the iPhone 5S looks a little bit different than the other devices, or the other iOS devices. You can see there is no little square going around it anymore. And the button, it kind of just feels a little bit nicer. As you can see on the edges of the iPhone 5S, the home button reflects that same look. There's some fingerprints on there right now, and we're getting a ton of reflection. If we look here really closely, you can see the reflection coming off of that. That's also been diamond cut around the home button, so that looks very nice. And it blends in with the overall design of the phone very well. The phone absolutely looks great. I love the design of the iPhone 5 and the 5S. The space gray color is not the one I wanted. I wanted the white and silver, but I have no problem with this color. The space gray looks nice as well. And of course, they do have the gold, as I mentioned earlier in the video. But yeah, back to Touch ID. As you can see, I just set my thumb right on there right away, and it unlocks it as fast as possible. I'll just press the home button right now, and it's going to go ahead and unlock it. There you go, it's unlocked that fast. No need for a passcode anymore, but occasionally you will need it, such as when you reboot the phone, you'll need the passcode then. That's basically the only time, or if you're going in to edit your fingerprints that you have stored. That's the only other time you'll need your passcode now. Otherwise, it's just simply just put your thumb on there, or any finger that you have stored on there. I have my pointer finger as well and a couple other fingers, but everything see, we got an error there, but usually it does work right away. Occasionally you will get errors, and I'm not going to deny that you will get errors occasionally if your finger is not placed on there. If it's placed too far off, it will not recognize the finger and it's not going to do it, but for the most part, as you can see right there, it just kind of goes through it. Every time I do it, it basically recognizes it. You just get the occasional try again error. But that is basically it for Touch ID. Touch ID works very well. You can store up to 5 different fingerprints just by going into Settings, General, and then Touch ID and Passcode. And then there you can go. You can see it to use the passcode to get in here. And then you can edit all of your different Touch ID fingerprints, as we have here, up to 5. And you can, of course, use your fingerprint for iTunes and App Store purchases as well. You will need, again, to use your Apple ID for the first time. And then once you do that and it's confirmed, you can then use your fingerprint for any purchase after that. So occasionally you do have to use the traditional ways of iOS to do some things before you can use the Touch ID. As you would expect, any new phone coming out now is going to have great call reception. The iPhone 5S does not lack there at all. Reception has been great. Calls are crystal clear, and if you're calling someone with another iDevice, you can do a FaceTime audio call, and it's perfect audio basically. There's no static at all. But if you're doing a normal original call, just calling another phone without FaceTime audio, it's going to be great as well. There should be no problems there at all. Data, LTE. I have AT&T for my carrier, and I've had no problem with LTE anywhere. LTE has always been fast, and their locations are constantly expanding. Some data speed should be fine, basically wherever you are. There will be some dead spots, of course, but that just depends on your carrier. Now in this video, I've been talking about the A7 processor, which is 64-bit, but now there's also a new processor in this phone called the M7, and that's a co-processor to the iPhone 5S, and that works alongside the A7 in completing different tasks such as like geolocation. When you're navigating using Maps app, it's going to use the M7. When you're using any app, basically like a Nike running app, I believe uses it. The M7 is dedicated straight for your location basically, and it's going to kind of track that, and the app's going to be able to use this, and it's going to kind of conserve the battery as well, because it's not, the main processor doesn't have to do all the work. The M7 can do it, and it's going to kind of conserve battery in a little bit in some different ways. All the tasks that the M7 does is basically it manages the motion data like accelerometer, gyroscope, and the compass. Normally the A7 would do that, but the M7 it's more efficient at it now, which would, like I said, it's going to conserve your battery a little bit more, and it's going to work that way. And it's basically just going to be dedicated specifically just for those tasks that deal with motion. And in the Maps application, if you're looking for like directions, if you're driving along the road and then you get out of your car and you want to start walking, the M7 already knows that you are now walking, and it's gonna, if you look for directions to a place or a store or something, it's gonna automatically switch your directions over to walking instead of driving. And if you're driving, it'll of course recognize that you're driving, and it's gonna have it set to driving automatically before you even have to switch it over. For taking pictures, the iPhone is excellent. It's the best phone I've ever used for taking pictures. I've used the Nexus 5, and it's nowhere near as nice as the iPhone 5S, the iPhone 5S camera. The iSight camera, as Apple calls it, but it is still an 8 megapixel camera, but the megapixels in it have been enlarged to let more light in, so your pictures can look better in low light, and they're just going to be clear, and they're just going to be a little bit more clear in general. Video footage on the iPhone 5S is great. You also have the slow motion feature of 120 frames per second that you can use, and everything is just perfectly clear. I already made a video on the iSight camera for the iPhone 5S. If you guys want to check that out, I'll annotate it, or you can just check my uploaded videos. I believe it was the aperture they enlarged. I think it's 2.2 now. I don't remember what it was before, but it's 2.2 now. Pretty sure about that. And basically, I just made the videos and photos just perfectly clear. Everything looks great on it. They also have dual LED flash now. As you can see, there's 2 LED flashes in there, and that's basically going to allow, the phone is going to know the lighting of your surroundings, and when you're taking a photo, the flash is going to change to a certain different tone for lighting of your room to make the flash look as best as possible compared to the normal single flash of just that one color, that one bright flash. They know of different shades of flash, which will help a lot with photos that require a flash. And the phone also has a new feature called burst mode. If we're in the camera app right here, we can go ahead and just hold down any button. You can use the original tap button right there, or you can use the volume button right here, and you can just hold that, and it just takes tons of photos a second in burst mode. We already hit 70 about there. So you can see that was extremely fast. So for any actions you want to take or anything like that, you can go ahead and do a burst mode on your camera. Or if you want a slow motion video, we got the slow mo right there, as I talked about earlier, the 120 frames per second. That's also a nice feature. I did a video on that as well, so if you guys want to check that out, you can check my uploaded videos. But it's very nice, and the camera is astonishing on this phone. If you're looking to upgrade to the iPhone 5S and you want a nice camera, that is definitely one feature that's going to be a plus there for you. It takes great photos. There's not one negative thing I can think of about the camera on the iPhone 5S. The front FaceTime camera on the iPhone 5S has also been updated to 1.2 megapixels, I believe. Which helped out a lot. I don't remember what the iPhone 5 had for the front FaceTime camera, but the 5S, it looks a lot nicer than the 5 did. That's all that I know, and I'm pretty sure it's 1.2 megapixels that the 5S has. As for all the buttons on the phone, on the left side here we have the silent switch, we have the volume up, we have the volume down. On the bottom of it we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. We have the mic, we have the speaker, we have the lightning bolt port for charging and syncing. On the right side, we have nothing except for the SIM card slot. On the top, we have the power button on the right side there. And that is basically it. The front, of course, we just have the home button and the speaker up top there with the FaceTime camera right above there. And then the ambient light sensor and everything is somewhere in there. And on the back, of course, we have the rear camera right there. We have the dual LED flash. And then we got the Apple logo right in the middle. We have two black bars in the top and bottom. I believe that is for the reception. So the bars and everything can go into the phone. I think these little side bars right here too also help with that. I can't remember exactly what those are for. But the design of the phone, it looks great as well. I love the new colors they have. I love the space gray. All the colors are great, really. So the design of the phone is definitely great. Nothing to really complain about there either. And as for the external speaker on the iPhone 5S, that's great as well. It plays very loud, and at the max volume, it's clear. It doesn't distort or anything. There's no static. The external speaker is very great on the iPhone 5S. As for battery life, the phone has gotten me through every day that I've needed it to. I normally charge my phone the night before, and then it gets me through the entire next day until that next night when I have to recharge the phone up again. And normally, I still have a decent amount of battery percentage left. Depending on the day, it probably ranges anywhere. On the worst day, maybe being like 10%. But on a normal day, anywhere from like 20 to 30 to 40, somewhere in there. That's how much percent I have after a day of usage. The battery has 1570 milliamp hours. That's how large the battery is. It has been upped from the iPhone 5 from 1440. And the battery life has been actually a little bit better. Even though there is more higher performance hardware in the phone, the large battery has been able to accommodate for that. And there is no problem with battery life on the iPhone 5S either. If you use your phone very heavily throughout every day, there may be some problems, but odds are not. Unless you take tons of photos and videos throughout the day, that'll definitely kill your battery a little bit. In the hand, for me personally, the phone feels a little bit small. The only thing I do not like about iPhones is the screen size. I wish I'd have at least like a 4.5 inch, maybe 5-inch screen even for the iPhone. That's the only downside I don't like to the phone is if you have larger hands, it does feel kind of small in your hand. But of course, having a small phone is better than having a phone too large for your hand. So there's no problem really there. I just wish I kind of had a screen that was a little bit larger. But the display of the phone is 4 inches, and it's Apple's Retina display, which has 326 pixels per inch, which is 1136 by 640 pixel resolution. Everything looks very clear on the iPhone. Colors look great. Everything is excellent there. No problems there whatsoever. Back to how the phone feels in your hand. The unibody design of the phone, it makes it have a very sturdy feel to it. It doesn't weigh too much. It's not too light. It comes in at 3.95 ounces. So the phone feels just pretty perfect in the hand. The edges, because they kind of cut off very sharp, it's not too sharp, but some people would not like that feel. That's the only awkward feel about the phone in your hand is the edges are a little bit cut off kind of sharp. But the phone feels great in the hand. It's perfect weight. It's like I said, it's a little bit small for my hands, but the average person, the phone's going to be perfect for. No problem there either. But there we are, guys. That basically concludes my iPhone 5S review for you. If you're looking to upgrade to a phone that's not going to have any problem whatsoever locking up or anything like that, actually occasionally I do get some iOS 7 lockups. Nothing too major, and Apple will just fix those with iOS updates. So nothing to really complain about there. So if you're looking for a phone to upgrade to, it's extremely fast. It's great for gaming, great for any daily task basically. If you want a phone that has a great camera and everything basically well-rounded, the phone, there's nothing really too much to complain about besides the screen size, or if you have a problem with iOS. But basically the iPhone 5s completes every task perfectly, in my opinion. I have no problem with it at all. The only thing that bugs me is the screen size. If they can do something with that screen size with the iPhone 6, the iPhone would really be the perfect phone, in my opinion. I've tried out other phones such as Android phones like the Nexus 5, and the Android operating system locks up too often for me, and I have too many problems with it. And the apps, basically that's where it gets me, is the apps. The third-party applications on iOS are always built perfectly. I never have any problems with the third-party ones. Over on the Android side, I've used 2 different Android phones in the last about 2 years. I tried the Nexus 4 and the Nexus 5. And the third-party applications are not too great over on the Android side, in my opinion. I just have too many problems with them. But that is definitely not to worry about on the iPhone 5s. Third-party applications are great. The stock applications are great. Everything there is fine. But that is basically it. The iPhone 5s, like I said, will run you starting at $200 for the 16GB configuration, and that is on contract. Off contract, factory unlocked, 16GB is $650. That's what they'll start you at. That's basically it. To summarize, the iPhone 5s, it's a fast phone. The OS has really no problems. Third-party applications are great. The camera on the rear side is great for filming, taking photos. Everything there is great. No really problems calling. Phone calls go through great. Everything. The phone is well-rounded. Everything is great on it. I have no complaints whatsoever. The only problem that some people may come across is the price point, starting at $200 on contract. And if you have a carrier that's not supported by iPhone, and you can't get it on contract, starting at $650 is a very high price for a device. Nowadays, of course, the high-end phones are going to be running about that price. Most of them, factory unlocked, are around there. The higher-end ones, at least. But that's basically it. This concludes my iPhone 5s review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I'd appreciate a like down below. It helps me out. And if you want my future videos, go ahead and subscribe, and that'll notify you when I release those. I'll have more iPhone stuff going on, jailbreak coverage, the compatibility and all that stuff, the jailbreak updates for iOS 7, all that kind of stuff. I'll keep you guys updated with that. I'm doing videos on the Nexus 5 currently, so if you guys want some Android content as well, I have the Nexus 5 in my hands, and I've been doing videos on that. And you guys can check out all that stuff just by going to my channel, looking at my uploaded videos. That concludes this video. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you in the next one. See you later.